welcome to Davo the Dalek, episode 22. This is part 5 of the shoulders, and I actually finished the damn things off in this episode. I'm so glad to get the shoulders finished. It felt like I had light at the end of the tunnel. I was close to the finish line, but these were just dragging on and just causing more and more issues as I went through, as you'll discover. In Dalek anatomy, the shoulders sit here, between the skirt and the neck, and are the foundation of all Dalek armies.
Head and shoulders, knees and toes.
Part 1 of the shoulders, I put together the frame. Part 2 of the shoulder build was all about building the gun box. And shoulders part 3 was all about adding the skin to the shoulder frame. Episode 4 was about filling, sanding, painting, and slats. Now for part 5, let's get this thing finished. Now I'm up to the collars that go around the shoulders, collar there and collar up here, and they stand off from the body of the shoulders, and I'm just taped on some offcuts here just to space it out. It's I don't know, they're 10 or 12 millimeters pieces here. Come around to the back, 16 or 17 I think, and maybe 18 right at the back where I got these hinges. So got a bit deep around the back to clear the hinges. The Project Dalek website have a downloadable PDF where you can print out a full-size pattern for the bands that go around the collars. So I've fitted the bottom one here, just sort of loosely, obviously, with the tape, and this will be a pattern to cut out 1.6 millimeters thick aluminium sheet. Here I'm marking out the templates onto the aluminium sheet. Notice I tape it down fairly minimally but securely so you can join the dots where your tape is quite easily without missing any detail. Okay, I've shaped that aluminium. I've sort of curved it around my belly and around the bench top really. And here's the bottom collar. Mounted and screwed in position on the standoffs, but I've encountered a problem here where the curve of the pattern isn't quite right and wants to curve up. Now I could force that down, but it's starting to get sort of puckering happening there. So we're going to go through an exercise of metal shaping, shrinking and expanding basically to change the curve here so it becomes flatter down. And I will be expanding here, stretching rather, to bring this curve straighter. Yeah, see how that goes. Although I was able to shape the metal roughly to the shape that I wanted to get it to fit, the amount of effort it was going to take to clean up the bruising, because I didn't have the right tools to do it, I figured I could just remake it, start over. Make sure you make your own template before you cut the aluminium, because I did not. I just went, templated out the aluminium, and it just doesn't fit. I thought I could make it fit. And back mostly works, I can get that to work, but yeah, the front band doesn't, so I'm going to start from scratch, scrap that, do it again from scratch, make my own template. You can see this line here. I didn't have that line there when I was trying to fit the aluminium piece cut out from the template. But I've marked it on because I don't care. This grey, this doesn't quite work. Like the shoulders are meant to be grey to go with the silver, but I'm probably going to paint it a different grey undercoat anyway. So I'm writing on it to help me mark out the correct dimensions and size and placement for the collar, the bottom collar at this stage to go around. And I worked out the height from the top from all the Project Dalek dimensions, and basically run this around to position the top of the collar all the way around. Got to work out the front yet, haven't done that bit, but and I probably going to pack it out as well, because that does change the dimensions once you have it sitting off for the shoulders. So I'm cutting out some packing pieces from cardboard. This is 10 millimeters thick. The collar will stand off at least 10 millimeters, maybe 12 millimeters for most of the shoulder, and probably double that at the back, about 20 something millimeters, because I've got to clear the hinge at the back of the shoulders. So this is the piece for double packing out the back. It's shorter, obviously. What I've gone and done is put double-sided tape, the thin stuff, on the back, and I don't care if I lift paint, because I remember I'm going to repaint it anyway, so I just want something that's going to work. I'm sick of fluffing around. Okay, here's the packing. Got double packing around the back. Transition to single layer of packing at the front. Still got to do the strap under the gun box. And there's the front bit of packing. So I did the same trick with the square here. Okay, so I've taken my measurement for the top of the collar going underneath the gun box protrusion to here, and carried that around. And as it turns out, that is exactly 30 centimeters or 300 millimeters from the top. So that was a bit of a surprise, but yeah, considering all this was worked out in inches when it was first made in the 60s. I trimmed up the template and fitted it back in position just for one final check, and that is the hinges. See how we've got this overlap here? When that opens, that's going to clash probably against the back. And anyway, that's the whole purpose of putting this back in, just to see what's going to go on here with the hinges. I've opened that up, and you can see it is in fact clashing here. So I'm going to take, I don't know, maybe 6 millimeters off the back here and smooth it out. Stop that from happening. Okay, I went to the trouble of marking out the top collar, and as it turns out, the Project Dalek template is pretty good. Don't think I need to change anything there. Relax that a bit. A little bit of sagging going on here, but I think I can make that work without any extra modification. So the top band's okay, following the template. So it's good, saves me a bit of work. I've cut out the top bands straight off the template, and I've screwed them into place with regular screws, because they're going to be hidden by the slats and mesh. Whereas down here I used some fancy security screws, because they were the only ones I could find that were the right size at the hardware. Plus I thought, yeah, they give a bit of otherworldly look rather than a standard Phillips head, so I was happy to pay a little bit more to get them on there. Anyway, so I've got the top collars cut out, fitted. I've let them overlap at the front for now, and I will mark them and cut them down. I plan on fitting these pretty much custom, because it seems to be something that everyone struggles with. I've seen so many that are lopsided and the spacing's uneven and that sort of stuff. So what I'm going to do is roughly mark the top hole on each one, and I will custom drill and fit the bottom hole to make sure the end sort of sits well. Right, so as I was saying, I'm going to mark the top row of holes for the slats. So I want to measure down the circumference right around here, the length of it, from about 12 millimeters down. 70, 60, around here. Let's see, I'm at. I scribbled a whole lot of measurements to work out the positioning and the holes. So the, oh my goodness, I can't remember what they all were now. Oh, this is the band here, this line, 78 down to the band, 96 of the band width, Then we've got the slat, and its hole will be 12 millimeters down from the band. So what's the distance to the top? It's 18 millimeters to the top of the slat. Oh my goodness. So what I've worked out is I need 85 or 86 millimeters between slat centers. There's no slat on the center of the front. There's the gap and a slat each side of it. So it's 42 roughly each side. I've marked this one with a pen and that one with pencil, roughly 42, because we've got 85 in half. This one will be roughly 85 because we're going to curve, got to sort of roll the ruler around it. I've worked out all the locations for the slats. It's one in the centre around the back and 85 millimeters between each one. Okay, now I need to mark the top row of holes here. So I'm going to, rather than sort of measure it, because it's a bit wonky, it's high and low in places along the top edge, so measuring down from the top edge is probably going to be inaccurate. So I'm literally doing 18 millimeters from the top using my square, but butt up the slat to the square, 18 millimeters, and then marking the top hole here. Right, that's it there. You see that? I've got three hands, so I can actually show you doing it while I'm holding the phone, but anyway, you get the idea. And that should be evenly spaced all the way around. At least that top gap will be consistent everywhere. Okay, I've gone to the trouble of fitting the slats. I've drilled all the top holes around. Probably can't even see that, but and fitting the slats just with the top rivet. The reason I've done this is because alignment, basically, if I try and measure out the bottom holes, the angles are going to look wrong, and look, you can see how easy it is to make it look wonky. Right? So I'm going to fit the top hole, and then adjust each and every one to get the angle correct, and then drill through the bottom hole. But another reason for doing this test fit is I pick up things like this. There is no bottom hole for this piece. Right. Stick that back in. And that angle gives me nothing to rivet into. What am I going to do? Don't know. But I'll figure something out. Of course, back in the day, these were all retrofitted to slats were all retrofitted to an existing band, which is on the Mark 1 and Mark 2 Daleks, and the Mark 3 included all these slats, which are just basically fitted onto the existing Daleks, including issues like that. Anyway, onwards. I'm giving the slats just a light coat of silver to make them a bit translucent. I'm thinking this will highlight the fact that they're not just aluminium and make it a bit alien-like perhaps in its technology. I'm cleaning up the shoulder section to respray them a different colour grey. I just thought I'd pause here and have a little chat about methylated spirits, or better known as metho in Australia. It's an alcohol-based cleaning fluid particularly used where you want a waterless environment which is free of any residue. Now, it's usually 90% ethanol, which sounds like great news for alcoholics, but to avoid huge alcohol excise tax, they've got to poison it with 10% methanol and add a bit of flavouring to it to make it unconsumable. I'm cleaning up the shoulder section to respray them a different colour grey. The current paint has a bit too much of a green tint in it for me. It doesn't really match the silver. And as it turns out, the replacement grey wasn't much better. Of course, it didn't match the colour of the cap on the can. Here I'm making the cover strips that go on the front and rear of the bottom collar. I'm just using some offcuts and shaping them over a piece of 3mm steel in my vise. I bend it most of the way over with a soft-edged hammer and then sort of send it home to finish it off with multi-grips. So the mesh I chose is actually automotive mesh for bonnet scoops, body kits, bumper bars, cooling ducts, etc. But it's expensive, and I thought one sheet would be enough, but it is not. I need 2 sheets of it, which is a real freaking blow. But did find something interesting. This mesh can be cut to the desired shape with scissors. My desired shape is 200 millimeters. Easy. Trying to work out a method of attaching the slats with the mesh underneath it. One piece of mesh covers like 4 slats. I'm going to pin it in place, do the center slats, and then do the outside slats with the mesh will actually overlap between. Anyway, so we'll find out how my method works. I have almost a minute of fast forwarding through fitting the slats, so I might need a musical interlude or something. I don't use music much in my videos except to enhance my jokes. So here's A Walk in the Black Forest. Nearly there. Last thing left for me to do is to figure out what to do with this floating mount here, because the angle, the opposite of that one, comes down over here. There's nothing to pop rivet into. I want something secure, so I'm going to put this up behind, maybe tighten it up a little bit, and then push it up into place, and that will help secure it. Yeah, I don't know how it'll work, but we'll find out. Oh my god, that's it. That's the shoulders section done. Done. Oh, I haven't done those hammies yet. I guess they're going to magically appear in a future video. Oh my god, so glad it's over. Yay.
What are you looking at? Haven't you seen a horse head on a Dalek before?
This is my journey to live the dream. Come along with me on my build journey down the wormhole.